Well, speak loudly. Hello, Jacksonites. Welcome to my final video of 2021. I think I want to make this a yearly tradition where I do end of the year videos, just reflecting and looking back on what the highs and lows of 2021, both on YouTube and also in my personal life. 2021 certainly was not nearly as bad as 2020. That's for damn sure. I still maintain that half of it was bad and half of it was good. 2021 had a few low moments, but I definitely think 2021 has been a big improvement over 2020. When you say, hun?
What?
2021's been better than 2020.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I have Meadow with me here. She's still camera shy, but she will be a bit interactive with this video pertaining to the major story that I want to tell in this video. There's going to be 3 segments to this video. Reflecting on 2021, my YouTube plans for 2022, and also I'm going to be telling you all the story of how my son was born. Strap yourselves in. There's a lot to say about that one. But reflecting on 2022 or 2021, excuse me, both personally and YouTube wise, it was a big improvement. Of course, when was Roman conceived?
In September 2020.
Was it September? I thought it was October.
I found out pregnant in October.
Okay, so Roman was conceived, my son. You'll be able to meet him. Just be patient. Roman was conceived in September, so that was a highlight of 2020. But we had the last 6 months of Meadow's pregnancy throughout 2020 or 2021. It's a lot of 20s already. Don't make yourself gag, bud. That's upside down. By the way, I am going to have to go back and forth a couple of times because Roman is down here being a bit of a brat. Anyway, and I'm not an Animal Crossing fan. That's definitely Meadow's forte. Right, bud? I still work at Walmart. That hasn't changed for me. Still working 40 hours a week, making the most money that I've ever made in my entire life. I'm actually going to be getting a raise at the beginning of January, so that's a plus. I still obviously have my apartment. I still have my Xbox. I still have my giant growing collection of movies and shows. So 2021 was definitely a big improvement over 2020. Lots of things are looking up for me. I've had some lows, like being frustrated with my job. There's things at my job that are changing, in my opinion, for the worse that I really don't like, but I'm learning to deal with those. And of course, I became a dad in 2021. And you know what? I may as well just get into the story now because, admittedly, I don't have that much to look back upon personally for 2021, aside from becoming a dad. As far as YouTube goes, though, my plans were kind of all over the place. I'll talk about that later, though. So I'm just going to jump into the story of how my son was born. See, what happens is when a man and a woman love each other very much. No, I'm not going to do that. I already have dad jokes, and my son's only 6 months old. Oh, I love me some dad jokes. Hun, there's ads. Hun, there's ads. So yeah, Roman was conceived in September. We found out that Meadow was pregnant
October 3rd.
October 3rd. Roman's original due date was June 13th, right?
Well, first, it was June 8th, and then it was June 10th, and then it was June 13th.
What she said.
Probably
I'm sure they can hear you, hon. Go down in the comments, say, can you hear Meadow? Is she speaking at her current volume? Well, in case you didn't, the original due date was June 8th, and then it changed to June 10th, and then finally it was determined to be June 13th. Not gonna beat around the bush with this. Meadow had a horrible pregnancy. At first, it was just mostly kind of fun and games. She had a massive hankering for Taco Bell.
At first, it was disgusting, and then I wanted it.
We racked up a massive ass Taco Bell bill by the end of it. I probably spent about $1,200 on Taco Bell throughout her entire pregnancy. Geez. I mean, I'm not complaining. Actually, I want Taco Bell. That makes me hungry. But then it quickly went downhill because Meadow went through some rough shit growing this little semen demon in her belly. Oh shit, he lost his beak again, you little turd. Are you trying to talk? Are you trying to join Daddy? Are you trying to tell your side of the story? Okay. Eventually, if Meadow first started off, the most common pregnancy symptom is, of course, intense nausea.
Well, just nausea, not intense. It's not supposed to be intense. It's supposed to just be nausea.
In your case, it was okay. Yeah. Normally, a regular pregnant chick has not bouts of nausea. If it's either smells or foods that set off nausea in a woman, because hormones are all out of whack when a chick is pregnant. In Meadow's case, though, it was intense nausea. And her nausea got so bad she could not eat because she was constantly puking her guts out. She could not even drink. Bud, you're just as talkative as ever, ain't you? And quit trying to eat your feet.
He's telling you the story of how he's telling you.
Meadow just eventually her nausea got so bad. What's it called? She was diagnosed with something called HG, hyperemesis gravidarum. I'm throwing a truck when it's I think it was pouring ass rain when I get a text and a call from Meadow's mom saying that her nausea got so bad and she was so dehydrated because she could not eat or drink without barfing it all up. They had to go to the hospital and have an IV shoved into her hand. Huh? And she started bleeding because she was puking so hard. She lost how much weight?
15 pounds.
Meadow ended up losing 15 pounds in 6 days. That's not healthy.
When you're pregnant.
Especially for when you're pregnant.
I couldn't even pee.
Yeah, literally couldn't even pee. Because, when you go to the doctor, you have to give them a urine sample. She just barely gave them the most minute amount of urine to work with.
There was only one drop came out.
And then they just stuck her with an IV and pumped her.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to work. One drop isn't going to do anything.
And just pumped her full of fluids so that they could at least replenish all the fluids that she's been losing because she was so severely dehydrated. And they took her blood as well. So obviously that kind of freaked me the fuck out.
When I got an ultrasound because I was bleeding, they made sure the baby's
That too. So, in order to combat the HG, the doctors prescribed her with a pill called Zofran. Now, the Zofran helped to kill the nausea, which was good. Took
Most
2
of the
doses a
time,
day.
I would still puke, though.
Most of the time, yeah, but it was at least an improvement over what she was doing beforehand. There was one major side effect with the fucking Zofran, though. It plugged her the fuck up and made her completely constipated. Not to, so I'll also give a bit of a disclaimer. I'm not going to be super graphic, but I am going to be talking about certain details that are kind of raunchy and gross. So beware. Are you giving me cheeky smiles? You keep losing your toys, you freaking turd. And your bink.
Very.
Bink. No, it's not a bink. It's a binky. Okay. So yeah, the Zofran plugged her the fuck up, made her really sick, and she could not shit for how long? What was the longest you went without shitting?
Over a week.
Yeah, over a week without shitting. The Zofran was that bad. She literally had to stop taking Zofran just so that it could get out of her system so she could take a proper shit. But then the nausea came back, so she had to go back on fucking Zofran. So we ran into a snag. We obviously cannot just keep cycling back and forth between her being constantly nauseated to the point where she's about to die from dehydration or starvation, or B, she gets on these meds and then she gets so constipated she ends up with septic shock, which is when your body absorbs your own shit because you haven't shit for so long, and your body ends up poisoning itself by absorbing its own E. coli. Not good.
I wasn't pregnant, or I was pregnant and didn't want like any bad stuff happening to the baby.
Of course, that too. So obviously that wasn't cool. So then, me and Meadow came up with a solution. So of course, me working at Walmart, one area that I worked in one day, I found some Miralax for her. That didn't even make a dent at first. And then we found some milk magnesia. That worked a little bit, but it still wasn't enough, because obviously when you're constipated, not only can you not shit, you get severe abdominal cramps. Like your body wants to shit, and there's so much pressure built up in your gut.
About shitting.
Huh?
So why are you just talking about shitting?
Shush. Like you want to shit, but there's so much pressure built up in your gut, but you just can't get it out. So obviously that hurts. That's uncomfortable. We just came up with the idea of creating a concoction that we call milk of buttholes, where it's literally a mix of milk of magnesia and Miralax in one drink. So she gulped that down, and it definitely did clean her guts out. That's for sure.
It was painful and my ass bled.
That too. But then eventually, as the 3rd trimester rolled by, things sort of got manageable. Like she was shitting regularly. She got a massive increase in hunger, which I mean, I wasn't complaining about because I love Wendy's, but normally she doesn't. But pregnancy made her crave Baconadas, and that made me very happy. Hey, Pierce from Cinematic Trash is here. Hello. Or as I like to remember, hey, Moo Moo fans. Yeah, toward the end of the 3rd trimester, things were sort of manageable. But I'm not going to lie.
Lots of spicy nuggets.
Lots of spicy nuggets, too. I'm not going to lie. I hated every second of Meadow's pregnancy. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, Only because I was sick.
You were sick a good majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy watching someone go through a bad pregnancy. I kind of compare it almost to like watching someone go through hun kidney dialysis or even chemo. It's just rough. You sit there and you just watch your significant other just be miserable, and it tears you up on the inside that there's nothing that you can do to make them feel better. And how do you think I felt when I'm at work and I get a text from Meadow's mom saying, "Hey, we're at the hospital. She's so dehydrated she can't even keep down water." How the hell do you think that makes me feel, knowing that my fiance and potentially my unborn child could potentially be in danger just because the pregnancy is so bad, it's literally keeping her from even taking a sip of water. And then you watch her just sit there and whimper and be miserable because she can't do something as simple as going to the bathroom and taking a shit.
And I can't eat either because if you can't shit, you don't want to eat.
That too. You can't eat because you don't want to add more fuel to the fire.
Also, it hurts when you're even thinking about food.
That too. It's not easy. It's really, really not a fun experience. Like, and Meadow is a part of a girls support group on Facebook, and she'd be reading all these stories about how chicks had hella easy pregnancies. There was no complications. They didn't get constipated. They didn't have intense nausea, and she would just be like, "Man, why can't I have that? Why do I have to be getting my ass kicked?" And there was one time before we discovered the milk of buttholes and formula, there was Meadow didn't really want me spending a whole lot of money, but I decided to defy her orders, and I went to Target and I was just searching the pharmacy left and right looking for something to curb the nausea. I was asking every pharmacy tech there, like, "Hey, what's something that I can get? Because my fiance has intense nausea. What's something I can use?" And unfortunately, when you're pregnant, you can't take stuff like Pepto or Imodium because that can be harmful to the baby. Mamaze, Miralax, and Milk of Magnesia are allowed. So yeah, Meadow didn't have a good time pregnant, and I didn't have a good time when she was pregnant. I was miserable, and Meadow was miserable. So for some reason, she got a kick out of whenever Roman would stick his foot into her rib. I don't see how.
No, I didn't like it. I just thought it was funny. Like, always his toe in my rib.
Yeah, Meadow had a very, very rough pregnancy, and there are some days where it was so bad I almost wanted to cry for her because I don't like seeing my significant other in pain or being uncomfortable or like can't even go take a shit. Do you have any idea how demeaning that is? She would just literally lay in bed and just whimper and moan and groan. And there was nothing that I could do to help. And I felt so bad. I felt so helpless. But eventually the day came. I posted my last video for a while. Oh my God. Getting paternity leave was a colossal pain in the ass. There were so many hoops that I had to jump through in order to get it. It's not that they were unwilling to give it to me. It's just nobody knew how to get it. I would ask one person, they would say, "Oh, I heard you do this." And then I would ask another person, they would say, "Oh, I hear you do that." And I would go to do this and that, and then this and that would tell me I have to go turn right around and go and do that and this. It was a lot of he said, she said, hearsay, they say, bullshit. And finally, eventually, really wasn't even caring about how much money I would get while I was on paternity leave. I was just more concerned about I just need enough to pay rent, and that's it. Thankfully, I did get I worked everything out as to where I got like $600 a week. I wasn't complaining. But yeah, the day came. I started paternity leave. Posted my last few videos, as you remember, with Jeff doing the first 3 George Romero Dead movies and my top 10 favorite zombie movies. Oh, and this one over here made me watch all 5 Twilight movies leading up to my son's birth. Whew, that was rough. For the record, the worst of all of those 5 movies is New Moon. Damn, that movie's boring. But June 13th. Wait, what day did we go in? Was it June 13th?
It was June 14th. Monday, June 14th.
Monday, June 14th. Me and Meadow went to the hospital.
For my induction, because he wouldn't come.
Meadow went in for an induction or an induced labor because Roman was late. And so we go in, we check in, we set up. She gets hooked up to an IV and a heart monitor. And what's that chemical called?
Which one?
Or what did they give you to induce the baby?
Well, first they gave me the balloon, which fucking hurt, and I had to sit in the bathtub.
Yep.
For like literally 8 hours. I didn't sleep for pretty much 2 days. Pitocin.
That's what it is. They gave her Pitocin, which
They
started
like 5 different things.
Pretty much like 5 different things. But the induction process started, and Meadow was experiencing cramps, of course, but not a lot of progress was being made. She literally had to lay in the hospital's bathtub, which was like a half jacuzzi.
I was having contractions, not cramps.
Baby. Or not cramps. Yeah, contractions. She was having contractions, really which bad. Hurt, of course. You want to hit skip?
I had them like every 30 seconds for hours.
Had contractions every 30 seconds for 8 hours straight at one point. She had to lay in the hot because the warm water was helping soothe some of the cramps or the contractions, but you can only stay in there for so long before you just get so uncomfortable. She at one point literally had to stand, hold on to a handrail and like sway back and forth, which we call stink bug, for almost an hour because several times because the contractions were so bad. So what was after that? Oh, wait, no, I remember. Okay, so after 8 fucking hours of the induction process, of which she didn't sleep much, like barely. Whenever she would kind of sleep, she was like maybe 3/4 asleep, but never fully. And me, I was getting 4 or maybe 5 hours of sleep on an uncomfortable ass hospital bed.
Well, see, the balloon didn't really work.
The balloon didn't work.
Like the hormone strip in me.
Oh yeah, they gave her a hormone strip.
And that hurt really bad.
And then that didn't do anything.
They tried the peanut and flipping on my sides.
That didn't work. That didn't do shit.
That was actually making Roman's heartbeat go down.
Mm-hmm.
So we stopped doing that, and that didn't work.
And then
I tried opening my legs up and sitting me member forward. That didn't work. That hurt really bad.
And then her water breaks. Normally, when a woman's water breaks, the amniotic fluid is either a clear color or maybe a slight pinkish color. Hers was green, greenish brown.
It's supposed to be clear, yeah.
And that's how that was like red flag number 1 for me.
Like, something's not
Yeah, something's not right here. I know what fetal stress is, and it causes babies to shit inside of the mother's uterus. Um, at first, I was thinking, okay, maybe there's some progress, but still, there was red flags going off in me like crazy. Like, something's not right here. Another 16 hours goes by. So, in order for a woman,
So that whole time I had contractions, and then Roman pooped in there.
And the water broke.
And they kept trying to get him to come out, and his heartbeat kept going down.
Hang on. So Meadow was hooked up to an IV and a heart monitor, which would monitor both Meadow's heartbeat and also Roman's while he was in the womb. Whenever contractions would happen, his heart rate would go up. Or wait, no, was it?
It would go up, and then down.
Then down drastically.
It was scary.
Hang on, I'll get to that. After another 16 hours of labor, again, me only getting 5 or 6 hours of sleep, her getting barely any, I finally pull one of the doctors aside and I tell him, there's not really been any progress. I think we seriously need to consider having an emergency C-section. Now, in order for a woman to give birth, your uterus needs to be 100% flushed, and your cervix needs to be at least 10 centimeters dilated. For 16 hours, Meadow was stuck at.
You have to be +3 and not -3.
No. You had to be. You were stuck at 70% flush, and you were stuck at 4 centimeters dilated.
I got to.
For 16 hours.
And -3. He was way up in my rib cage.
Oh, yeah, that too. So there was just no progress. So the last nap that I took, I think I was asleep maybe 4 or 5 hours before I was awoken by Meadow saying in a couple hours they're going to wheel her into the ICU.
No, it wasn't like that. I was trying to eat a popsicle because it was my birthday. And I couldn't even eat the popsicle.
Yeah.
I couldn't even eat the popsicle. And then Roman's heartbeat kept going down. And then I got the shakes.
Oh, yep.
And then I got a fever.
Yep. So, she got a fever.
The injection was failing. It failed. And then I got a fever and started shaking uncontrollably. And that's when they came in and they said, okay. And they woke you up, told you to put your suit on, and we're going to go have an emergency C-section and have a choice.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to the awake world. This is a stream, Jackie boy. I just have a really nice ring light in the background. Jackie boy's here. So yeah, what a way to wake up. I'm being told the induction fails. Huh?
They threw that suit on you and they put this.
Yeah, I literally had to put on a hazmat suit, dealing with a couple really snobby ass nurses.
They were trying to get you to hurry.
Well, no, I had the big boots on, and
you have to put those
I had no boot. They have no. I wear size 14 shoes, and they had no booties for me to put on. So I had a nurse just say, "Figure it out," and then just storm away. So then they gave me these. I don't really think they were booties. I think they were like kind of handless gloves for an arm, but I had to put those over my boots. I walked into the ICU and I had to wait in a room for a few minutes, but then I finally walk into the ICU. I see Meadow borderline crucified on a fucking gurney, laying back like this. Her eyes are closed. She's freezing cold. I grab a chair and I sit next to her.
I'm freezing cold.
Yeah, she had a fever, but she was freezing cold. I grab a chair, I hold her hand, and I start rubbing her head. And I tried talking to her. I just tried talking soothingly just to get her through it, but also to get me through it because I'm trying to stay strong, but I'm seeing all this go on. I'm kind of, I don't like hospitals.
And it kind of looked like we were gonna die.
A little bit for a second. So I do like that doctors are aware of this. Nowadays, when somebody has an emergency C-section, they pretty much like have a curtain around the mother's stomach so that they don't look into their own guts when they're being cut open. Or yeah, like they put a curtain right here to like if like you feel the pain. Oh, she did have an epidural put in. That took away the pain, but that didn't take away the pressure. I'll get to that in a sec. So, but yeah, if it's like out of sight, out of mind, it's not as bad, but it can also like it can freak you the fuck out. So if you don't see that, you don't have that going against you as well. But she's laying there shaking, freezing cold. I'm sitting in a chair, hunched over. I think my lower back went numb after this.
My vision kept going black, and then it would come back, and then it would go black, and then it'd be awake again.
She was drifting in and out of cognizance. I was holding her hand. I was rubbing her head. I was talking her through it. But I'm kind of keeping an eye on both of them. Now, I think there was 4 surgeons there at the time. The curtain was up. They're all men. The main guy was a kind of a funny smartass. In an ICU.
So the guy that was holding my tummy.
Yeah. There's a main big light that they keep on the ceiling to illuminate the entire area. Because if you're doing surgery, you need to keep the area well lit.
It was so bright in there.
It was very bright, yes. But it's also kind of reflective. So you can kind of see what they were doing. I was switching from looking at Meadow and then looking up in the light. And the worst part of it, I just so happened to look up into the light and I see the reflection of Meadow's stomach cut open, and there's a little hole that's like a black spot. And I watch the doctors stick their fingers in that hole
right above my vagina
and peel it open. I knew what that was. That was the uterus. They stuck their fingers in that hole to peel the uterus open. It didn't hurt, but Meadow felt the intense pressure that created. She damn near broke my fingers and tore my hand out of its socket.
Is that what I told them I could feel it?
Yep.
And they pumped like 5 more pumps of hard drugs in my back.
Yep.
I feel the coldness going into my veins.
Yep. So yeah, that's fun to watch. I didn't look at it too long. And mind you, I'm not squeamish by any means. I've watched all the Saw movies. I've watched tons of zombie movies. But obviously, it's not fun watching doctors stick their hands and peel open your wife's guts. It's not fun. So I look away. And again, I'm really trying to keep strong for Meadow. But that wasn't fun for me to experience. Also, nearly having my hand torn off my arm was not pleasant.
Oh, you had your arm hurt. Oh.
Shut up.
Your poor arm.
Like Tom Lynette. Oh, hon, that really hurt. Did it hurt for 8 hours?
Yeah, we're like 46.
At this point, yeah. So, then the baby came out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really look. I mean, I saw them pull him out. I take one look at him.
I didn't get to see.
Well, because you were pretty much unconscious at this point.
Whole moment of like meeting him, I never got it because I was.
I didn't really want to look because from the look that I stole, he was purple.
Which doesn't look good.
And his skull was coned. Yeah, he was purple. He wasn't making a sound, which was not good. I'm looking at Meadow. I'm holding her hand. I'm still rubbing her head. I'm giving her a couple of kisses. And after a few minutes, we finally hear Roman start crying.
Crying, and then as soon as I said that,
he was like, he's alive. But Roman was literally purple. Few minutes later, so this at 4:52, June 16th, 2021, Roman Lee Jackson was born into the world.
That's Mommy's birthday.
Meadow's birthday as well. So I'm literally the dad from Happy Death Day. both my fiance and my son have the same birthday.
Best birthday present I ever got, even though it was
not fun getting it.
Yeah.
So we found out why exactly it took so long for Roman to come out.
Oh, also when they got him out, there was no poop. Remember, because they put that water thing up in me to flush it. Remember
I don't remember that.
They did the fake amniotic fluid thing where they put the fluid back in. Remember? You don't remember that? I do. I forgot what it's called, but it was called like an amniosis or something.
I guess she had that. So we found out exactly why Roman was not coming out. That's because his umbilical cord was wrapped twice around his neck.
He was stuck up in my rib cage.
He was stuck up in her rib cage, and the reason why his heartbeat would keep fluctuating so much is that whenever there was a contraction, it would cause the cord to tighten even more around his neck, and that would freak him the fuck out. And
which
that
is my uterus would tighten, which would make the
So yeah, that's why he was late. Motherfucker did not want to leave at all. So I held him for the first time when we got to our main room, I believe. Meadow held him for a few minutes to try to get him to latch, to try to feed, but he was having none of that.
He wouldn't do it, no.
So they clean Roman up. They take him away to get him dressed and swaddled and all that. They patch up Meadow, and they roll us to the main room that we would be staying at for a little while. I left the hospital a few times to A, get Meadow some clothes, B, get me some clothes, and also get some entertainment. And also just to grab some Z's and take a break. So we got set up in our main hospital room now. At this point, Meadow has not showered for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
She'd also just recently dyed her hair. So because her hair was so greasy and unwashed, she was literally staining the shit out of her bed with her hair dye, staining it red. Finally, we get to the point where I meet Roman for the first time. I hold him. I change his butt for the first time, which was very distressing.
Because he hated it.
He absolutely
hated being naked.
Yeah.
When he was first
loathed
born,
it. I think it's because he was cold.
It was because he was all skinny and he's usually 6 pounds.
Roman was 6 pounds and 4 ounces when he was first born,
which is way smaller than he should have been. But now he's a big tubber.
I'll show him.
What was I talking
Well, yeah, he hated being naked.
Oh, yeah,
he hated being changed. He hated having his IV changed.
In his bath. Oh, he had to have an IV because they thought he had an infection.
So yeah, he had to be taken away for a little while because they highly suspected him of having a bacterial infection. That wasn't fun to deal with. It was also at this point where I got another break. I got to hang out with my brother for a little bit because his girlfriend was going through something of her own, but he and I had a moment where we could hang out and just talk at the hospital. I was talking to all the guys like Jackie Boy, Ryan, and Shawnee Boy. A little bit of Trev. I might touch on that later. But I was kind of all on my own while this was going on. And I didn't have a nice time. It was very distressing. It was very distressing watching my fiance being in so much pain, and Roman being miserable in his first few days of life. Had a couple funny moments, like one time when I was feeding Roman. Roman was so small he could fit in my forearm up to the middle of my ring finger. He was so small, so I could literally hold him with one hand.
Yeah, he was the lightest thing.
And I was feeding him, and I had to take it away for a second. He gave me a face that Meadow gives me all the time. It was pop. And then when I started laughing, he starfished, as we call it. But so that was funny. But we ended up having to stay at the fucking hospital for 6.5 days. I learned a couple of things. One, hospital cafeteria food gets very old very quickly.
It's also kind of good.
It is good, but it's also old. It gets old.
I ate so many BLTs.
Yeah, ate a lot of BLTs, ate a lot of mozzarella sticks, and I ate a lot of burgers. But this is the main thing. Hospitals are boring as fuck.
Oh, another reason we had to stay at the hospital was because I got preeclampsia or whatever. Remember my blood pressure?
Oh, there's that too.
And my fucking legs got super swollen, and I got preeclampsia, and my blood pressure went up to like 190, which is fucking terrible. I got really.
Oh, and she took her first proper postpartum shit.
4 days.
The log was that long and that big around.
4 days after he was born, I had to take so many pills to poop.
It was literally like, to quote Peter Griffin, "Holy crap, Lois! Look at the log in the toilet." So I had to help her do that. I also had to give her a shower, which was fun. Not in any naughty way. It was just, for me, very satisfying because, I'm a pretty clean person. I don't like to go without a shower for more than a day or two. Meadow is that way as well, and I just could tell, like, her skin was very oily and greasy and sweaty.
And cold sweating. And
her hair was very unkempt and greasy as well. Fuck. Very curly, that too. Yeah, so
my ponytail was so curly.
We had a stand-up shower in our room that had a drain, and we had a shower chair in there too, so she had to sit on that. And I took a shower with her because I may as well. I'm going to get equally as wet as you, so fuck it. And it had a removable nozzle connected to a tube into the wall, so that was nice. So I was able to hose her off and hose myself off in the process. It was fun. Again, satisfying for me because I liked getting her clean, and it's satisfying for me because I like to take care of my family. So good on me there.
Also, I couldn't move or bend or do anything myself, so I needed you to help me anyway.
Yep.
You had to give me my shower every day for like, I think, a month almost.
Yep.
Because I couldn't bend or move, or remember, I couldn't even wipe my own hoo-ha because I couldn't bend.
Oh, and I had to help her dry her incision. It never got super wet, but she had to lift her stomach up, which obviously is painful. And I had to go in there quickly with a towel and just wipe it out to keep the bandage as dry as possible. Because if you have a bandage that gets wet and just stays there, eventually that might cause gangrene or like jungle rot or something like that, which is not fun. But we never got to that.
You can easily get an infection after you have.
That's what gangrene is.
Well, no, I know just in general you get an infection.
Oh, well, that too, yeah.
After a C-section,
so
fuck it up. You don't keep care of it.
So yeah, that happened. Oh, something for the Avengers. By the way, I hope you guys can't hear what's going on in the background. I have a little, we call it Hey Bear baby sensory thing. We have it playing for Roman, but he just fell asleep. Yeah, I'm getting there.
Or you tell me when it's like 10 minutes.
So, now I'm not going to lie, there was a lot of perks to being on paternity leave. I didn't have to throw a truck when it was 115 degrees because we had a massive heat wave that summer.
As soon as he was born, he was like a week old. and I had to turn on all the fans and the AC so you didn't heat stroke because it was 117 degrees outside.
Yep.
In freaking
So
Vancouver, Washington.
I'm very glad that I wasn't at work during that. Not gonna lie. And I, of course, as I mentioned in my I'm Officially Back video, I got to watch a lot of movies while I was here at home. Staying up with Roman all night.
He had extreme colic.
Yeah. Colic is a condition that babies get when they can't pass gas, and it builds up in their stomach, and obviously that hurts. So they just end up intense screaming.
Which
so
for 2 whole months.
Yep, 2 whole months. That was not pretty. So I'm also not gonna lie, like how I'm being blunt about saying I hated Meadow's pregnancy. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of struggled for my first 2 months of Roman being alive. Our sleep schedule was totally out of whack. It was very frustrating and distressing, constantly being like walking on eggshells, trying to get Roman to calm down and be quiet and go to sleep. There were many, many days where I would be awake for 18 whole hours straight throughout the night. Because I wanted Meadow to get some sleep, so I would stay up all night with Roman, but he would just constantly be screaming and crying and bawling. Man, it was rough. I'm not gonna lie.
No matter what we did, he was upset.
It was very
sad no matter what.
It was very frustrating and very distressing and very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Concerning, because we thought something.
Well, that too, yeah, concerning.
There was something wrong with him because he was so
unhappy
all the time. And now he's very happy.
And now he's a very happy boy. I'll show him in just a little bit.
He's such a happy baby.
So yeah, I'd do paternity leave all over again, just a bit differently. But still, I think it was fun, despite being up for 18 hours. Another thing too, I knew for a fact I was not getting a whole lot of sleep. Even whenever I would sleep, I would never sleep longer than maybe 5 hours. Like my body would treat sleep as like maybe a long nap, not proper sleep. So I would be awake for 18 hours at a time, but sleep for 5 hours, then wake up still tired.
I think the most amount of sleep we got is when that one day where it was like 8 in the morning and he hadn't gone to bed yet still. And my mom came and grabbed him and brought her over to her apartment, remember?
No, I don't remember that.
Remember? It was like 8 in the morning, he hadn't gone to bed yet. My mom came over and she took him and then we crawled in bed and went to sleep. It was like...
Oh, yep, we did that.
Remember how hard it was for me to even get in bed when we first got home? That sucked ass. Getting out of bed was like a nightmare. I dreaded it.
Thankfully, I had my rocking chair in the bedroom, so that was a lifesaver. That's where I watched a lot of my movies there. But man, the first person in my family, well, the first person in all of our family to meet Roman outside of him or her and I, was it your mom or was it John?
John, he came by us from the hospital.
Oh yeah. So my father-in-law, Meadow's stepdad, John met Roman first. Then my mother-in-law would hold Roman for 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
Just would not let him go. It was sweet. Still does that too. But the first person in my family to meet Roman was my mom. She was a very happy grandma. Hi, bud. I kind of had to fight tooth and nail with my younger brother for him to come meet him. I guess he had some trepidations at first about meeting him because he was a bit afraid of babies. But as soon as I got him over, he was just like, oh my God, this is my nephew. Give. Of course, my dad and my stepmom and my younger sister came by and met him. They were ecstatic, just absolutely head over heels. So yeah, that happened. There's some other finer details I'm sure I could get into, but that's really the bulk of all the shit that went down. So long story short, it was an experience getting this little semen demon into this world, and it was a very much a mixed experience. I liked being on paternity leave. I liked not having to work for 6 weeks. Not gonna lie about that, because I'm one of those people. Like, had I had the ability to work from home when the rampant lockdowns happened last year, I'd have been a very happy camper, because I'm very happy inside my home. Soon. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So I'm gonna real quick go through my my YouTube plans. What? Oh, you barf?
Yep.
Hang on a second, guys. Again, fatherly duties.
Oh, he got on his beak. Oh, baby. You got it on your shirt. Is that this?
Oh, and another thing that wasn't fun was getting him circumcised. Very, very distressing.
Yeah, it's getting a little weird.
But thankfully, my mom paid all $300 of the circumcision, so that's nice. Really? I thought it was more than that.
Take his beak out. No, because that added to he hated taking his diaper off. And then we had to put gauze on.
Yeah, right as I was getting used to changing his diaper, then we had to
put all those gauze in his willy.
That wasn't fun.
Nope. It was sad. I hated that.
I hated that too. He was like intense pain screaming.
I would have skipped it.
Yeah, but uncircumcised penises are unsightly.
Oh well. I would have just left it. Everybody else.
So very quickly, I'm gonna go through some of my YouTube plans. I have to get back up again and grab my thingamajig. I don't have any set. Well, I have a set dates for a couple of these. So going into the new year, I of course will be continuing Super Kaiju Binge. I'm not going to start that back up again until I get my hands on that Shout Factory extended King Kong 76 Blu-ray. So that's on hold until I get that, because that's the next movie I have. Terra Mecha Godzilla is in 1975, so naturally I'll just move on to 1976. But I want to do that extended cut, so that's got to wait. I mentioned, I don't remember which video it was. It actually might have been my 2020 year-end review video where I said I'm going to start a series called Zombie Exploitation, where I review every single zombie movie that I own. I do still want to do that. The first episode of that series is going to be either a review of the 1990... Yeah, here it is. The 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead, directed by Tom Savini. That's going to be the first episode of that.
Are you puking more?
I want to do a review of the Ip Man series starring Donnie Yen. I'm going to get Jeff Welch to join me for those. I want to do a ranking of the Karate Kid franchise, which means I finally have to get around to watching seasons 2 and 3 of Cobra Kai. Not excited about that, especially with the 4th season on the way, bringing back the worst element from the worst Karate Kid movie. Not saying what, but use your imagination. Soon I want to do a video with Horror and Metal reviewing the entire Critters franchise. That should be fun. With the apparent success of Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous on Netflix, I've decided I'm going to do a re-review series of the Jurassic Park films and also review the Camp Cretaceous show, so that should be fun. And, of course, end that with a ranking of the whole series with individual seasons of Camp Cretaceous included, leading up to the release of Jurassic World Dominion. My first video of 2022, this is happening for sure, is I'm going to do a video about my top 10 favorite film franchises. I've been thinking about doing that for a while, so that should be fun. And then right after that, my second video of the year is going to be me going over my movie collection. I remembered I did a video like that talking about my Christmas haul. I call that my movie collection part 1, and then I never made a part 2. But then I'll just go through my whole thing shelf by shelf. I'm also going to do a review of the Starship Troopers franchise. I think a pretty underrated sci-fi series. And then that'll be leading up to a video that I've been wanting to make for a while, my 31 on 31 sci-fi edition, where I rank Jurassic Park, Starship Troopers, Planet of the Apes, and Star Wars all in one list. And the final, second to final, is I want to start reviewing The Walking Dead because I now own season 1 of Walking Dead World Beyond, the first 3 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead that I got for Black Friday for only $10. It was a 3-season box set for only $10. And I also got season 10 of The Walking Dead for only $8. Also on Black Friday, because normally it would have been $35. So 8 versus 35. Good deal. And the final idea that I want to start working on, I tried to do this last year. I want to start reviewing the Ultraman franchise. I now own a vast majority of the entire series. The only shows that I'm missing of the main series, I'm missing Cosmos, Nexus, Max, and Mebius. There's a couple other Ultraman shows that they're planning, that Mill Creek is planning on releasing, like Ultra 7X, which is on its way, Ultraman Neos, and the 2 Ultraman Zayarth movies. But I do own a vast majority of the Ultraman franchise, and I've chewed through a fair bit in the last few weeks. But this also has to do with something that me and Meadow are going to be going on. I'm calling it a little journey. I'm going to be saving a whole bunch of money throughout the first half of 2022 because I'd like to have at least like a $4,000 or $5,000 nest egg to fall back on, just in case something happens. And in order to keep me from spending money, I'm going to be chewing through a whole bunch of my TV shows that I own but still haven't watched. I'll show more of those when I do my movie collection video, but I got a lot, so that should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. But another section of that is the Ultraman shows that I own. I got to chew through a lot of those still, so I'm looking forward to that a lot. So that's all my YouTube plans. Those videos are coming at the 1st of January, so I'm looking forward to those. And then, as promised, come here, you.
I'm gonna get the baby. Oh, he smiles at Daddy. Oh, he's gonna take his toy.
Oh, he barfed a little bit again. Just get his chin.
What bunk?
Or just, spit out your bink. No, it's not a bink. It's a binky.
Mouse.
In my hand,
that's
too.
a sovereign boy. Where?
Right here.
Right, did I get it? Did your bink, baby? Drop his toy. I'm gonna get the baby. Get the baby.
This is Roman Lee Jackson. He is now 6 months old. He weighs 22 pounds.
Probably about that.
He's definitely growing a lot from being as big. Oops, sorry, bud. Being as big as my forearm up to the middle of my middle finger.
Right, bud?
This is my son. I love him to death. He's turned into a very, very good, very happy boy.
Yes.
Can I get some cheeky smiles?
He's not gonna cheeky smile.
Oh, do the.
No, he's not. He's looking at.
Hey, look at mommy.
Or do the. Oh, there's a little bit of one. He's a very hyper boy. Yep, this is my boy. This is my son. He's a good boy. Roman Lee Jackson. I don't give a shit what Meadow says. Roman after Roman gladiators.
That's not
and
what I
Lee
named him
after Bruce Lee.
I didn't name him after either of those things.
Yeah, but I'm naming him after those.
I picked his name. You can't just say, "Oh yeah, it's after that."
Well, that's what I say.
It's not after that.
Which also, Gladiator was another movie I watched while I was on paternity leave. Great movie. Yeah, this is my boy.
He farts a lot.
He does fart a lot. He shits a lot too. Definitely my boy. So 2021 was certainly a big improvement over 2020. You playing with my watch? Had a few lows, but it certainly had some highs. And I feel that I am slipping into the father role very, very, very well. So I think that'll about do it for this video. This will be my last video of the year. So just wait until the beginning of January for one of my first two vids. That'll be top 10 favorite franchises and going over my movie collection. So look forward to those. Post your comments down below and let me know what you think. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and get that shit off your lips and share this video with your friends. Yep, I'm a daddy. This is my boy. Hey, look at the camera. Look. 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 That's you. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. He goes,
We're done.
we're done. And as always, go out and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, or to quote James Rolfe, get that off your lips, and Happy Shut the Fuck Up. And I will see you guys in the next video. Why is that on your lips?